watching Fox 25 Morning News.
You know, there's a saying that you're only as good as your people. So how do you bring out the best in those you manage? Dr. Ned Hallowell says there are a few simple steps to getting your staff to shine. That's also the title of his new book on the subject, and he joins us this morning to tell us a little bit about it. First of all, I read your book over the weekend, and the way you start off was with this guy, Dr. Shine. Tell me about Dr. Shine.
Yes, I was in Logan Airport one day getting my shoes shined, and the man shining my shoes starts talking to me. He says, "What do you like? What interests you in life?" And he starts drawing me out, and he says, "I got to find the spark in people. I only got as long as it takes to shine shoes." And I said, "You know, boy, you sound like right out of the book I'm writing." He says, "If you go for the spark in someone, you can always find it. That's my job." Turns out his name is Dr. Shine. He has multiple sclerosis. He has a walker. He comes to Logan Airport every day. He says, I'm known all over this airport. People talk about me simply because I look for the best in people. And I thought, my gosh, if this man looked to be about 65 years old with multiple sclerosis can devote himself to bringing out the best in people, all of us could do that. And I asked him at one point, I said, "Who do you work for?" And without missing a beat, he says, "I work for you." You know, and that's his feeling, you know, that he's there for me, for the customer, for the other person. And so this is a book for managers, but it's really for everyone on how to bring out the best in employees, how to bring out the best in people in general.
Well, what you say is that managers need to do what Dr. Shine does.
Exactly.
They need to work for their people. Tell me about that.
And find the spark. You know, find what is the person good at. You know, so many people toil away in jobs that they're not meant to do, and that they're never going to shine. So it begins by finding, you ought to work at the intersection of three spheres: what you're good at, what you like to do, and what someone will pay you to do. Where those three meet, what you're good at, what you like to do, what someone will pay, that ought to be your career. And the manager ought to help people find that. And then once you find that, once you make the right selection, then connection. And this is the key, the connection at work, the emotional buy-in. There are so many people in jobs out there right now who feel disconnected, who come into work and feel paranoid, afraid, insecure. And that just lobotomizes them.
Yeah.
You give up half your intelligence. You become stupid when you're operating in a state of high anxiety. And so, again, what the enlightened management does these days is creates what I call a positively connected atmosphere. Now, it's not lovey-dovey, and not at all, but it's high on trust and low on fear. And that's when you get peak performance. And without that, you just never will. And then once you have the connected atmosphere, you want to encourage imaginative engagement with the task and contribution, which I call play. But it's far from trivial. It's really the highest level brain activity that we've got.
You know, when you talk in your book about how you draw that out of people, that spark out of people, there used to be a saying, you know, leave your personal life at home when you come to the job. You don't think that's necessarily the case anymore?
I think that's nuts. You put half yourself in the glove compartment in the car. Now, sure, you don't come in and talk about all your personal problems, but you want to be real. You want to be whole. You don't want to be some cardboard, you know, mussied up, politically correct rendition of a human being. You want to be who you really are, because only then, when you're whole, when you're real, will you blossom, will you shine. You can't shine if half of you is back outside in the glove compartment.
Why is it so important that managers understand this technique and learn how to pull out the spark from people?
Because we're living in hard times. We're living in times when the brain power is critical. We don't want to waste half of it, which we are doing. You know, now productivity means more than it ever has, and ingenuity and thinking on the fly. These are critical elements today in today's economy. But the good news is this is very doable. You know, this method anyone can enact. Select, connect, play, work hard, and you'll shine. But oftentimes people don't understand the critical importance of that second step, the connection, creating that atmosphere that's high on trust and low on fear.
Once you do get to that, and you touched on this a moment ago, this issue of play almost sounds counterintuitive, because you think, no, I want people to be working, not playing.
Exactly.
So how do you resolve those two thoughts?
I didn't hire you to come in here and play.
Right.
But in fact, you did. Because you look at your best contributors, they're essentially playing, by my definition, which is imaginative engagement with the task. The opposite of play is robotic behavior, doing exactly what you're told. Well, you can hire a machine to do that. You want a human being. What that human being has got is imagination. Now, of course, you don't want them just no structure whatsoever. That's not what I'm talking about. What you want is imaginative buy-in. You want the person to come up with stuff he doesn't even know he has in him. and they'll only do that where they're in this state. Again, that's where they feel comfortable, where they feel engaged, where they feel valued, and then they'll grow your company for you. You can sit back and watch the magic happen.
Some life lessons for everyone, not just managers.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Hallowell is the author. The book is called Shine. You can also go to drhallowell.com for more information. We'll be back in just a moment.